Welcome to Daily. I'm your host. One quick point of interest before I start, I guess I did start already, whatever. Anyway, the Cozumel dwarf fox has been photographed for the first time recently, and it is an adorable little creature. Highly suggest searching about and finding some pictures. It's an interesting story as well, considering that Cozumel is not that big. All right, for the next little bit here, although I might switch it up, I'll be reading poems from Cautionary Tales for Children by BELLOC. The description I thought is pretty funny, so you kind of understand what it is. Cautionary Tales for Children by BELLOC is a children's book published in 1907. This darkly humorous collection parodies the Victorian-era moral tales that warn children against bad behavior. Written in rhyming couplets, 11 tales follow unfortunate children who meet exaggerated, often fatal consequences for their misdeeds. From Jim, eaten by a lion, to Matilda, burned for lying. The poems satirize upper-class Victorian society while delighting readers with their wickedly entertaining mix of macabre humor and moral instruction. So we will be talking about Jim first. But there is an introduction in the book, and the link will be provided in the show notes. This is in the Creative Commons. I would hope so. It was made in 1907. Introduction. Upon being asked by a reader whether the verses contained in this book were true. And is it true? It is not true. And if it were, it wouldn't do. For people such as me and you, who pretty nearly all day long are doing something rather wrong. Because if things were really so, you would have perished long ago, and I would not have lived to write the noble lines that meet your sight, nor BTB survive to draw the nicest thing you ever saw. Now Jim, who ran away from his nurse and was eaten by a lion. There was a boy whose name was Jim. His friends were very good to him. They gave him tea and cakes and jam and slices of delicious ham, and chocolate with pink inside, and little tricycles to ride, and read him stories through and through, and even took him to the zoo. But there it was the dreadful fate befell him which I now relate. You know, at least you ought to know, for I have often told you so, that children never are allowed to leave their nurses in a crowd. Now this was Jim's especial foible. He ran away when he was able, and on this inauspicious day he slipped his hand and ran away. He hadn't gone a yard when bang, with open jaws a lion sprang, and hungrily began to eat, the boy beginning at his feet. Now just imagine how it feels when first your toes and then your heels, and then by gradual degrees your shins and ankles, calves and knees are slowly eaten bit by bit. No wonder Jim detested it. No wonder that he shouted high. The honest keeper heard his cry. Though very fat, he almost ran to help the little gentleman. Ponto, he ordered as he came, for Ponto was the lion's name. Ponto, he cried with angry frown. Let go, sir, down, sir, put it down. The lion made a sudden stop. He let the dainty morsel drop, and slunk reluctant to his cage, snarling with disappointed rage. But when he bent him over Jim, the honest keeper's eyes were dim. The lion having reached his head, the miserable boy was dead. When nurse informed his parents, they were more concerned than I can say. His mother, as she dried her eyes, said, well, it gives me no surprise. He would not do as he was told. His father, who was self-controlled, bade all the children round attend to James' miserable end, and always keep a hold of nurse, for fear of finding something worse. So I guess just percolate on that lesson and breathe. Put your gratitude into words. Spread those words online and in person.